Crossover Day is this Monday. That's the deadline for most bills to pass through the opposite chamber of the State House for a chance to become law. The major obstacle lawmakers are up against is the $3 billion budget deficit, sparking debate on both sides about how to address it. The Maryland General Assembly convened for a rare Saturday session ahead of Crossover Day. Now, during that almost 8-hour House session, lawmakers did not discuss solutions for the multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, but the House did spend about an hour debating the Maryland Values Act, which prohibits law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration officials.
Individuals who have not been convicted of anything, and the majority of the time when they are detained, the majority of the time, they're not guilty of anything, nor have they been convicted of anything.
And it is about public safety. I am proud of Maryland's ICE. They lead the country in sex offender apprehensions. All the 287G program does is give dutifully trained officers access to information that ICE has.
The House bill seeks to cancel existing agreements that Frederick, Harford, and Cecil counties have with the federal government to assist with the deportation of undocumented immigrants. Sheriff Jim DeWeese, the president of the Maryland Sheriff's Association, told Spotlight on Maryland in a statement that, quote, "We are against legislation that limits our ability to communicate with ICE on matters that directly affect the safety of our communities." Lawmakers debated several other controversial bills today. Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland has been tracking the developments at the State House and has the details on one bill that generated a long, heated debate.
The Maryland House was in session on Saturday for a marathon of a day as the chamber looks to move forward as many bills as possible before Crossover Day. The Maryland Second Look Act dominated much of the floor debate. Emotions ran high in the State House.
This person never, ever should have seen the light of day.
Talk about leaving no Marylanders behind. The only Marylanders being left behind by this bill are the victims and their families.
Nothing about the criminal justice system is an easy thing.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have an amendment at the desk.
As state lawmakers in the House debated the Maryland Second Look Act.
I have an amendment here that would exempt people who've murdered a victim under 6 years old.
For hours, Maryland Republicans proposed amendments to the Second Look Act to restrict the bill's scope. A bill that came to the House floor that, in its current form, would allow dangerous violent criminals charged between the ages of 18 to 25 that are serving sentences to get a hearing before a judge after serving 20 years in prison. A hearing that may allow a judge to set a prisoner free, including those charged with murder, as long as they're eligible for parole.
A 21-year-old can vote. They're not a child. And when you make the decision to gun down a pregnant mother, that person should be held accountable, because that is wrong.
I'll be voting red on
During
this
floor
amendment.
debate, Spotlight on Maryland counted almost a dozen Democrats that left the House floor and did not vote on any of the amendments to the bill that would have tightened its scope. But amendment after amendment after amendment posed.
The amendment fails.
But notably, two Democratic committee chairs, including Delegate C.T. Wilson, who chairs the House Economic Matters Committee, and Delegate Vanessa Atterbury, the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, frequently joined a dozen Democrats to side with Republicans on most amendments to restrict the bill.
These are the most egregious offenders in our state, people that have murdered children.
20 years we asked them to follow the rules. Follow the rules, be better. This is not a get out of jail card, whatever that Monopoly thing said, whatever. It's not that. You don't get out. This is no guarantee. The judge can say, no, do another year. Do whatever.
This bill is absolutely a step in the wrong direction.
After the bill's debate, Republican leaders Delegate Jason Buckle and Delegate Jesse Pippy spoke with Spotlight on Maryland.
It's important that Marylanders start understanding we don't focus on the victims here in Annapolis. We don't even focus on public safety sometimes. We are so focused on the one person who maybe is in jail that maybe deserves that second chance, that we let out 99 other people who are dangerous.
Spotlight on Maryland reached out to Governor Westmore's office on Saturday asking if the Second Look Act reaches his desk, will he sign it into law? The spokesperson responded saying that the governor looks forward to continuing to work with lawmakers. I'm Gary Collins in the State House in Annapolis with Spotlight on Maryland.